welcome to everybody who tuned in. I would like to welcome you to our series called Career Talks. This is a video series dedicated to a very favorite topic of ours, the topic of career development. We will be speaking with several amazing progressors who will be sharing a little bit more about their journey and experience here at the company. And today I would like to welcome our first participant, Polly, who is here with us. And I'm going to give her the word to basically introduce herself to you.
Thank you, Tommy, and thank you for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to be here and to talk to you about career. My name is Pavlinka, Valkova, but people call me Polly, and currently I'm taking the role of People M&A Program Senior Manager.
Yeah, it's great. But when you started at the company, was this your initial role?
No, actually, I've had a few roles before I got to this one. At the beginning, 4 years ago, I started as the culture and engagement specialist at Progress, and I was part of the organizational effectiveness team, your team actually, an awesome team who drives a lot of the learning and development programs for our progressors. And at the beginning, I was leading the engagement survey, the recognition program, a lot of cultural intelligence related programs, trainings, etc. And it was a great start.
So from the start to where you're now, I mean, your career path has been very colorful and filled with different opportunities and challenges. So was this entirely your decision to move in this direction? Was it a very fast process to move from this career to the other, or how did it happen?
Well, yeah, it was a journey. Definitely, it was a journey. And one of the key things that helped me get where I am is that I was always keeping my hand up and I was always open for opportunities, right? So after the first year, I started to get more responsibility within the role that I had. I took ownership of the global onboarding process. With a colleague of mine, we revamped it and make it more consistent across the globe. And regardless of where you're based, you can have the same experience. Later, took more responsibility for inclusion and diversity, which is a key pillar for us as well in our culture. Supporting one of our ERGs, supporting the establishment of the Inclusion and Diversity Committee, and many different opportunities like that. While at some point, we also were moving towards establishing a growth strategy through acquisitions as a company, and we were acquiring companies every year to help us grow. So I was also involved in that work. At first, more on the integration part, onboarding, culture assessment, because culture is super important. And this, I think, helped me to move on to where I am now and to make that shift. But this was never planned, right? Just came like a good opportunity, and I said, yes, why not?
So it sounds really like a gradual process, and definitely something that you said of always raising your hand and being involved in many different aspects of your initial career role and responsibilities. I now see how this helped you transition into the new one. So what I take from this is that definitely culture and engagement is a very important aspect of accomplishing a successful acquisition, which a lot of people, I do think, still underestimate. So when we talk about your personal journey again and the different career steps that you had to take, is there somebody or something that really stands out as something that supported you throughout the way?
Yeah, I think I can call out two things. One is just the way I perceive things and my perseverance, because I never give up in front of an obstacle and I just move on until I find the right way to get where I want to get, right? Because when I took the role of M&A program manager at the end of 2020, I was super excited to be able to work with the M&A lead at the time. But unfortunately, a few months after, she decided to move on after over 10 years at Progress, and I was on my own. And it was a bit awkward at the beginning, new role, no idea of the full M&A cycle, and I decided to not give up and to just move on my own, right? And of course, I had a lot of supporting team members, not on my own completely. And then I focused a lot on learning and growing through M&A knowledge, experience, and also doing a lot of resources for the people team, because you need to have a program, a key established baseline to be able to support the team when the next acquisition comes. So this was at the end of the year, after then doing a few diligence processes and the Camp Floman acquisition coming, and I was able to really run it from start to finish across other team members. At the end of the year, it just felt so rewarding to have stood up on the challenge and moved on. And I really appreciate the empowerment that my manager gave me, and let me do things in the way I thought they should be done, which was great and helped me learn so much and grow.
Well, I remember when I met you personally, which was exactly a year ago, and you were one of the first people I met. And back then you were telling me how important, it is to get to know people around the company and to have this supporting structure. So, these messages in terms of being able to have this mental toughness and perseverance, but also relying on people are two very important factors for success. It's something that I've heard from your statement just now. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. I just want to call out the second thing, which was around building the right network to have the right people to work with, right? Because in this new role that I took, I worked very closely, and still I'm working very closely with the corporate development team. And then one of the team members of the team over time became my mentor and my sponsor. So she is the integration lead on the company level, and we work very closely with her when we have a deal. So we developed this trusting relationship, and she became my mentor and my sponsor, right? So someone that can guide me in this development, which was new to me, but also someone that can see your potential and your performance and then speak about you when you're not in the room and support your development going forward. So just the two things, I think, go together. You prove that you're worth it through your perseverance, and then you have someone to really be there to support you and to also talk about you and grow you further.
Definitely inexchangeable parts of success. So I agree to that. And by the way, I forgot to congratulate you on your 4th year anniversary here at Progress. So now thinking at your journey and going back, was there or is there one thing that stands out as a particular success for you personally as a career professional, and one thing that you can maybe mention as your biggest challenge so far?
Yeah, I think in terms of accomplishment, just this role gave me a lot of opportunity to be working with so many people across the company with different functions, because cross-functional collaboration is super important in M&A. So working with the senior leadership team as well, working with awesome people across the globe is just a great success for me. And the whole learning and the whole growing that happened is just the best accomplishment. On the other side, when I think about a challenge, I think in the world of M&A, it's super hard to predict your workload and manage your time, because you have to be very fast when a deal comes. You work long hours, putting on top of that the time zone difference, working with US colleagues. It just becomes a bit hard to manage your time. But at the end of the day, when you see that your efforts made a difference and they helped the target employees to integrate into the Progress culture smoothly, it's just all worth it.
And basically, again, thinking about my time and when I joined Progress, and it was just around an acquisition that we have had. So I noticed how busy it can get around that time. But at the same time, I also noticed you are always kind of very energized by everything that you're doing. So now thinking about that, my question is, what gives you that energy?
I think two things give me that energy. On the first side, it's the great people I work with, right? It's the whole people team who work on a deal, because it's a team effort. It's never one person, and everyone is awesome, and everyone does their best, and we're all hands on deck at some point because we just need to do the work. In addition, it's all the other great folks in the different functions that I work with. And then just the feeling and knowing that you're part of something big, and supporting this growth strategy of progress to become a 1 billion company over time. So this is just exciting itself.
Definitely. So we actually designed this series, especially for people, who are watching these career talks that we're now organizing and maybe thinking about themselves and thinking about advice that they can get in terms of how to develop their own careers. So if you could give your personal advice to people who are in that space and are thinking of what is the next step for me, or what are the skills that I need to apply in order for me to grow in my career, what would you tell them?
That's a great question. I think I'll tell them that it's okay to not know what you want to be when you grow up, right?
Yeah.
And then to cherish the journey versus the destination. And to trust that doing the right things and having the right guiding principles will take you to the right place at the right time. And for me, those guiding principles are a few, and I'll just summarize them now. One is to really keep my hand up. I mentioned that already, and be open for the new opportunity, and let the right people know that that's the fact. You're open, right? Then don't give up in front of a challenge. Persevere. Develop, do the right work, and people will happen. One thing which is very important is do not work for promotion, right? Just do the work in the best possible way you can, and then the result will come. The recognition will be a second as a result of all the effort that you do. And leverage your network. Work with the right people, find your mentor, find a coach, find a sponsor, depending on what you need in your career development and in your moment in your career. And last but not least, just pay it forward, support others around you, and help them with the learnings that you have so they can also grow and develop.
They're all great advice. And I think it's the most logical way to conclude our conversation. Polly, I know your schedule is very busy. I would like to thank you one more time for joining us and taking the time, of course, to share your story. Or to everybody who joined our career talks. We're going to be back soon with another series. For now, bye, and thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you got some inspiration today. So thank you, Polly. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.